Welcome everybody to GoLocal Live. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. If it's Wednesday, it is Mott and Chace Day. We've got Robert Rutley. He knows all. Robert, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Okay, let's jump into it. A lot of news in the globe, America, but let's zero in on Rhode Island, specifically Providence. You do a lot of work in Providence, and we've got this complexity of the likelihood of a significant tax increase. How does that work with when you're selling property, having discussions with both buyers and sellers?
Well, everybody got their new assessments if you're a property owner recently, and that doesn't really tell us what the property taxes will be because we don't have a mill rate until the budget is released in June.
Right.
What I can tell buyers right now is that if you're willing to purchase a home at a certain price, you should probably expect to be taxed at that price. We don't know what the rate is going to be right now, so it potentially could go much higher, according to our city leadership right now.
Yeah, it's certainly not going lower. I can pretty much guarantee that. They're up at the General Assembly requesting that the 4% cap that was put in place a number of years ago, that no city or town could increase their municipal real estate taxes by more than 4%. And they're asking for that cap to go away, coupled with, as we outlined this weekend by Ward at GoLocal, significant increases in the assessed value of the property, and especially for multifamily. So I think a lot of time when you talk about property taxes, renters don't quite gather that this is going to get passed along to them as well.
Right. I mean, Redfin recently called Providence one of the least affordable states in the country for renters, and I think that we are number one or number nine, I think, in an overall tax burden out of the 50 states. And within the 39 municipalities, we're number 4 in the highest property taxes for residential properties. So when people pay more taxes, they have to pay for them. If you're wealthy, it's annoying. It's a mosquito.
Yeah.
You're watching your money. You're annoyed by it, but it's not life or death. When you're somebody who's on a fixed income, you have to make a choice between paying your taxes and your mortgage, buying food, buying medication, or actually having just a free lifestyle. This is a dangerous precedent to increase taxes, period. But to break that 4% rule and set a precedent where this can happen anytime in the future is pretty dangerous.
Okay, let's go to, from the standpoint of certainly for sellers, the good news, which is there's still tremendous demand to buy in Rhode Island, and especially in Providence. So there's no shortage of buyers who are looking to move into Rhode Island, or Rhode Islanders who are looking to, upscale or expand their home because of children, lifestyle, etc. Talk a little bit about what's going on in the market.
Well, I want to remind everybody back in 2023 and 2024, or late 2023 and early 2024, we had quite a dip in property sales. And that's because one little factor changed everything for everybody. Interest rates went up to 6 and 7%. Right now, it's hovering around 6, 7, 5. And people have gotten used to that. People understand that it's not going to be down at 2% or 3% anymore. So that is what happens when something small changes, and it changes the entire playing field for people that are buyers and people that are sellers. If we are increasing property taxes, that is another factor that I think will dramatically change the ability for people to buy and the ability for people to sell. So as housing becomes more expensive, we've seen people go from the east side of Providence out to tertiary neighborhoods like Elmhurst, Rumford, Edgewood. Those places are starting to become expensive for most people as well. So where do you go from there? I think with increase in property taxes, you're going to see an escape from the city. That may mean that there are more listings available, especially in the mid and low range. and a lot of people that will not be able to purchase them. So I think that this is a dangerous thing that could happen to our real estate market, where people are stuck in their houses and unable to sell, and people are unable to buy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, real estate taxes are one facet of it. Obviously, and I think everybody in the world saw it, it was about 3 or 4 months ago, a very in-depth piece in the Wall Street Journal about it's not just the cost of the buying the house or even the interest rates, it's the cost of electricity that is going up, 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 heating that's going up, 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 and insurance that's been going up, up, up. So
Right.
if you were in a fixed income 3 or 4 years ago because you were older or because maybe you were on Social Security and had limited income flow coming in, you're in a tougher position because insurance has gone up maybe 20 or 30% in the last couple of years. Energy prices have gone up dramatically, and now tax increases.
Right. It's a difficult situation to be in for a lot of people.
Yeah. So will we see a big, Ben Scungio was on, I want to say 2 weeks ago talking about it. He thinks this is going to be a pretty banner year for home sales, that we've sort of embedded the 6.75 interest rates. It's not, nobody's expecting it to swing one way or the other anytime soon. There's still a lot of buyers looking to buy a home. Are we going to see a significant year?
I think so, as long as everything stays static the way it is right now. I think there are a lot of people that want to purchase homes, and there are still a lot of there's still not a lot of opportunities for people to purchase them. So we are still in a very strong seller's market, and I think that buyers are still going to have to fight for homes. Now, if that changes as it's been changing with insurance, utilities, and taxes, we may see something that is a little less active, and I hope we don't.
Yeah. Do you see any regional or geographic difference across the state in which things look different from the rest of the state?
I mean, not necessarily. I think Rhode Island itself is pretty robust when it comes to home sales. And like I said before, people are moving from the city because it's a little less affordable to them. And they're moving to a lot of other communities. There are some very strong communities that have really high price points, including Newport, Narragansett, Westerly. It's a different demographic, of course. But there are multi-million-dollar properties that are still selling.
Yeah. And that East Bay seems to be red hot with very little inventory, Barrington, Bristol, and Warren.
Yeah, I hope that changes in the next couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sure it will.
Yeah, those houses will come on the market. Are you hearing from people who, and this is totally anecdotal, are you hearing from people who have been affected by some of the changes in the federal policies? They've been laid off because of a loss of a federal job or because of a federal grant. They're either no longer buying or they are now selling.
I have two clients that had to back away from purchasing a home because they're unsure of their jobs because they are working on federal grants or they work for the federal government.
Yeah, I don't. It's an interesting, very dynamic period of time. Obviously, the Trump administration took action against Colombia, at least suspending $400 million in federal grants. We'll see how that plays out in the courts or how it gets resolved. Brown University, as we reported last night, receives about $250 million in federal grants, according to their own reporting for fiscal year 24. If some significant portion of those federal grants went away, that would affect a lot of people in Rhode Island when $250 million or even $100 million goes out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of nonprofits. There are a lot of facilities, medical, otherwise, that are relying on government grants to function. Some of them are 60, 70, 80% of their budget. So, this is off the topic of real estate, of course, but I think that we're going to see some huge disparities in medical service and other things that, social service programs that people really need.
Robert, you talk to a lot of people, you talk to a lot of buyers. Obviously, the number of buyers, if you look at the real estate numbers greatly outrank the number of sellers. Are you seeing, significant turnout at open houses? And what determines that? Is it a price point? Is it a geography? Is it because the house is on the east side, 20 people show up? Or is it because the house is under $1 million that people show up?
It's all of those factors are, of course, are drivers. But I went to a few open houses this last weekend, and the spring market is just about to explode. So we're seeing just the beginning parts of what could possibly be. And I was at open houses between $400,000 and $1.4 million this weekend. And every single open house had a really steady flow of people at all the price points. So there's still activity. I don't know if people are just kicking tires, but generally people have been waiting all winter for people to list properties so that they can buy something. It's pretty static throughout the winter because we've created this myth that spring is the best time to buy and sell. So everybody's been holding back, and floodgates are open, and people are ready to buy.
It's interesting, walking around the east side. I'm amazed at how many houses don't have people in them at all. Either they're purchased by somebody from out of state, or they're in some level of construction. But, I say this anecdotally, in a one block area around, there's 20 houses, and 7 of them are either empty or there's multiple condo units, and at least one of the condos is vacant and has been vacant either for a portion of the year or more. Is that part of our housing problem issue? Is that so many affluent people own so many pieces of property?
I mean, of course. I think when you own multiple pieces of property that you don't use, I think that definitely affects the ability for other people to buy them, for sure. But we also see a lot of people that live, maybe they live in a single-family home in another part of the United States, and like in the southern United States, New Orleans, Texas, or Florida, and they come up here part of the year. So a lot of times those people have condos, and we often see condos are empty for 3 to 6 months out of the year in a lot of associations. When it comes to houses, I don't see that often. I do see that, in fact, I helped some people secure a property recently that was purchased a little over a year ago by somebody and just never moved in.
Wow.
So, they decided to resell it. So, I mean, that's, we do have people to buy properties, and real estate's a great investment. Maybe that's the purpose for this to happen. But it definitely affects the ability for other people to purchase if there's no inventory.
You get the last word. What should we be looking for this spring selling season?
Don't get caught up in the craziness, the hullabaloo, and really be grounded and think through your choices. If you look in a house and there are 30 people looking at it, don't get caught up in that. Really think about it for your own standards and find out if that really that house gives you joy, or if you just think you're in competition.
Yeah. Robert, thanks as always. Greatly appreciate you taking the time. It is a wildly dynamic period of time in business, in the economy, and certainly in real estate. We always appreciate your expertise. For everybody else, stay tuned. There's a lot going on. A lot going on in Rhode Island and a lot going on nationally. Also, URI and PC play today in their respective tournaments. Bryant won last night. They bump all the way to the finals of their tournament, and if they win, they'll be in the NCAAs. So stay tuned, enjoy this great weather, and stay safe, everybody. Thanks.